Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, well, well. You asked me to show you endgame version of my Huntress build, and here we are. As you can see, we completely broke the Huntress, and this Huntress is just amazing. It's broken, it's fun, it's viable, clears all the content, and overall nice endgame starter. Let's start with our main idea for the build, which is using Whirling Slash 3 times to activate Whirlwind. Every time I use this skill, it will slow enemies around us, it will knock them back, and if it casts it one after another while you stand in the Whirlwind, it will deal more damage. But Whirlwind dealing damage when we get out of this effect, so that's Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, and then when we're getting out, that's the damage. Coolest part, you can actually move with it, so if you stay on an edge and you cast it once again, you can basically move. With really high attack speed, you can move like this, even faster than with basic movement speed. Yeah, pretty crazy. So attack speed is movement speed right now for us. Perfect. And second part is combining the skill with a twister. It looks like this, we basically create a little whirlwind. It can travel, it can bump on walls and basically last for a little bit. So with high enough attack speed you can create multiple of them. Or we can use Salvo support gem that will actually give us more twisters. However, they will be fired in random directions, like this. But who cares when we create like million of twisters every time? That's cool. But coolest part about Twister, that it can eat Whirlwind that we create with Whirling Slash, and it will deal more damage per Whirlwind stage. Therefore, with 3 stages we're dealing 240 more damage. For those of you who don't know, more is just insane, because it's multiplicative bonus, so everything you got will be multiplied, unlike increased. Another really powerful bonus is Gain S. It's insanely powerful and we got it also. So if Whirlwind will be elemental, we will gain 50% of damage as damage of corresponding type. So to make elemental Whirlwind, we need to create ground, and that's basically how idea was created. So basic idea was to use Frost Nexus on glacial lands, which got buffed this patch a lot with increased freeze build-up, and add freeze, so we're making sure it freezes enemies a lot. And with this combination, whenever we freeze enemies with ice lands, we create icy ground. So here we are, an enemy, icy ground. Now our twister is Ice Twister, but at the same time, initial idea was to use this Frost Nexus on our twisters. And now whenever I cast Twister, it will freeze enemies and create more icy ground, and basically we're creating ice fields and freezing everything around us and destroying enemies while they are frozen. Pretty fun, I guess. It's cool while we're mapping, but it's completely awful when we are bossing, because it's just impossible to create this icy ground on bosses constantly. We need to fight them with freeze, and it's hard to freeze late game bosses. Don't worry if you like freezing enemies, I got you covered, because the next part of the build that will come up online later will probably disable bosses forever. We'll see what we cook. But right now we're using these awesome boots. Yeah, I tried to stay away from them, but they adding damage to attacks, which is just very good bonus. At the same time, while we're moving, we're creating shocked ground. So, our twisters will always be kinda electrified. And that's pretty cool. So right now we don't need to have any troubles, we just run around and we always create this electric storm. But here is the trick that I use. Look, enemies are actually frozen and shattered and also creating this icy ground. Yes, because it's fake twisters. They look like they are electric, but in reality they are cold twisters. That's pretty crazy. Since I added Embiter support gem on my twisters, which makes them kinda cold twisters and they can freeze enemies really easily. But the build you will see in the pinned comment will not have this cold stuff in Twister, because I decided to switch into just pure damage. You know what is like the biggest problem for this build right now? We don't have enough survival. Our survival is enough to like defeat tier 4 bosses, tier 15 maps, tier 16 maps, stuff like that. But almost everyone enjoys damage and not just freezing enemies. So I created this insanely weird passive skill tree that I will explain how it works in a second and what weapon set you need where and how it scales. But take a look at the damage. It's tier 15 map basically. Our survival is okay, our mapping is okay, and that's why I created this build, because I had got idea for insanely overpowered build, but we need a little bit of resource to scale it even further. Yeah, we can scale it even more. Right now it's pretty okay. I mean, it's fun, it's definitely cool, and it's just crushing everything on and off the screen. And honestly, while playing this build, I start to regret that I'm not using sounds in my loot filter, because everything is dying off the screen. But still, we see lots of stuff on minimap. As you can see, we can carry like through multiple bridges. Basically, there's like 2 bridges right now open at the same time. There's like bridge number 3, and I don't care about survival at all right now, because basically we can survive. Yeah, we are pretty good. Still, we are a little bit squishy, so if you're having any troubles when you're trying to copy this build, try to play more passively from time to time, but we will fix it soon. Yeah, this build should be like insanely powerful and survival problem mostly, because we're using armor with 0 resistance, almost no resistance on rings, and so on and so on. So yeah, we will try to push it further. But basically that's what you can expect from the build. Let's actually try and find a boss. But I found 2 more breaches. This build plays insanely easy also. It farms insanely fast. Oh my goodness, that's good. So as you can see, we can survive if we get attacked. And if we can do this, basically we can do anything we wish. So Mr. Boss, let's talk with Mr. Boss. That's basic talk versus Mr. Boss. You don't even need to like focus him. He tries to hide. You just attack and he will die somewhere. You don't need to care like where the boss is actually. If you think it was too easy, it's like highest tier boss, so it is what it is. Okay, first of all, why there's like so many twisters? You already know basic mechanics, but basically whenever you shoot through 3 stages of whirlwind, you're not only getting more damage, but also getting 1 more twister. And we're getting more twisters by using support gem salvo, but we're getting even more twisters because we are able to constantly pop out barrage. So barrage is the skill, you pop it and you get basically extra projectile. But with my setup, this projectile deals more damage, and also there's more projectiles every time I pop it, thanks for support gems, and ability to consume frenzy charges. How I get frenzy charges is again pretty easy stuff. We just use combat frenzy. All the guys around us are being destroyed. In like 99% of cases, they just obliterated off screen. Thanks for our heralds, because heralds will not only shatter them and deal some extra damage, but also they will just shock them, because we're dealing a little bit of shock damage on top. And yeah, we're using Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder at the same time, and we're increasing our power with charge regulation, since we're increasing skill speed while we're having these frenzy charges, and that's why we are pretty crazy, also because we're using pretty crazy passive skill tree, but more on that in a second. So, if you know just a little bit of Path of Exile 2, you understand that all the skills require spirit, and if you check the skills, I actually got lots of extra support gems, so technically, this setup should require me like 200 or even more spirit to run. Yes, we got this 200 spirit thanks for our scepter. We're using scepter in our offhand, and this scepter is scepter of lightning. Right now I'm still testing. Probably a scepter that will give us cold damage is better, and based on my price checker, if you just check, it's around 20 exalted orb for ice scepter, around 10 exalted orbs for lightning scepter, so you can easily get one of this. You can even get like fire scepter, and this scepter will give you gain damage as extra damage, and that's just really powerful, but also it gives you spirit on top. You want to always drop rune inside its idol that increases spirit, a rabbit idol or something like this, I forgot the name. So this gives us ability to activate all the buffs we need and run fully buffed and fully powerful. Now, how I scale? As you can see, everything is just being destroyed. And that's because we're doing insane amount of critical hits with insane critical damage bonus. And here's cool part about our scaling. Basically, we're going for stat stacker. Yeah, we will use bunch of uniques, and one of the cool parts, you can actually play it even as not stat stacker. As stat stacker, we're just trying to benefit from extra stats, and we're getting this extra damage, for our lowest attribute, and that's it. But you can build just normal character and it will work. I will show crafting video tomorrow for all the items we need and how we can craft them, but for now, here's the main idea. So, as weapon we're using Tangletongue Forked Spear, and again, you can use basic weapon if you like. So basic weapon will work. For basic weapon we're looking for accuracy, for physical damage, and extra damage as different kind of element, critical hit chance, level 2 skills, stuff like that. But it will increase your mana consumption and all other problems that goes after. We got no levels to plus skills, so we're using Astramentis, and if you're worried about the price of Astramentis, don't worry, I will explain how to buy Astramentis insanely cheaply, just in a few seconds. Something similar to the mine right now is on the market for 2 divine orbs, but you can get it a lot cheaper, I hope. Most important part again, Tangletongue Spear. Why I'm using Tangletongue? Overall it's really low damage, but we using these gems inside that increases damage against rare or unique enemies, so we're just increasing damage by 50% and also we're gaining damage as extra damage of all elements. It's just insane buff, so technically no matter what the damage on weapon, we're gaining our full damage as damage of different elements. That's pretty cool. At the same time, this spear comes with insanely powerful bonus. It bifurcates critical hits, and hits with this weapon roll against the critical hit chance twice. So if you succeed on critical hit, it will be critical hit. But if you succeed 2 times, you will have double critical damage bonus. So I stacked loads of critical damage bonus on my Twister, and my bonus right now is 364. We can push it even further. Right now it is what it is, but I don't have this big increased critical damage bonus over here yet. But basically, even if damage is pretty low, and yeah, 67k on Twister is pretty low, it actually will be multiplied not by 364%, but by like 800%, and that's just broken. That's why bosses are basically melting whenever we crit on them. And you saw how many projectiles we shoot, so we like crit a lot. And that's kind of the reason why I'm using stat stack. Tangletongue does not have extra damage, but again it's pretty cheap, so all these uniques right here right now can be bought like for 5 exalted orbs, so it's less than divine for full build. Why Astramentis? Astramentis will add extra damage because it adds attributes, and the more attributes we will have, well, the more damage we will have from Hands of Wisdom and Action, because every dexterity will increase attack speed and every intelligence will increase our lightning damage. It will add lightning damage to attacks. So that's why I got 322 intelligence, 200 dexterity, 200 strength. That's the stats. The problem, as you may see, is there is no resistance right now, so yeah, we can't have nice resistance. Therefore, we're basically forced to increase our resistance by dropping runes in our armor and other equipment. So to survive, you're actually looking for increased maximum life. I got armor with increased maximum life and some resistances and also high evasion. Evasion helps, but again our evasion is not that high. Also helmet with evasion and increased evasion and some resistances and maximum life. Basically we want to make sure we can survive one hit. Also strength really helps, it increases our life anyway. Then same goes for our belt. We want belt with maximum life and some resistances. So these 3 items. And then we're looking for rings. Rings should be with added damage to attacks, with maximum life as possible, and with resistances. So this ring is kinda perfect. It got chaos resistance implicit, it got different damage to attacks, maximum life, so that's like the perfect ring. And all these 5 items combined, if they will carry you with resistances, that's just golden, so that's what you need. And this will help you basically farm everything. Right now I'm still being one-shotted from time to time, but I managed to reach level 90 and we are feeling good. We are like clearing all the content, and all I'm doing right now is just farming a little bit of currency for some power. Now, any fun options you may use. For example, I think this build is pretty cool and pretty fun right now, but I like to use Amanamu Teeth. That's a support gem that gives you ability to get Abyss modifiers whenever your minions die, and we will use Wolf Pack with it, with Infernal Legion, so they die all the time automatically, and also with Essence Harvest, that will replenish our mana when they die, and also Romira Requital, that will help us survive just a little bit. 10% of damage from hits will be taken from companions. That's pretty powerful stuff, and I'm using it in the slot of Charge Profusion. Charge Profusion is also an option, so I show you like 2 options, but that's how it works. You will summon a bunch of wolves, they will destroy themselves, and when they are destroyed, you will get this buff. That's basically how it works. But this support gem probably the most high cost item on the world build. Now, ideas for increasing our damage. Storm Charged is implicit on our talisman. It increasing our elemental damage if we dealt critical hit and increasing critical hit chance overall. So that's pretty powerful in my opinion, probably the best one. Then, insanely high cost stuff that I have is in Javel sockets. Mostly I'm using Javels that increasing my intelligence, increasing critical damage bonus with spears, attack damage, attack speed, so that's basically what you're looking for in Javels. And mostly it will be emeralds or sapphires for critical hit chance. But also I got this from nothing. I got it from my previous build. It costs a lot right now. Everyone probably realized it's the best one in the game. I bought it for 1 Divine Orb, right now it's like 15. And I invested over here in damage as extra chaos damage, ability to ignore non-negative resistances on frozen enemies, increasing our freeze build-up and increasing damage against frozen enemies, gaining strength, critical damage bonus, physical damage, which will be converted in other damage types, and gaining damage as cold and lightning damage against chilled and shocked enemies, and we constantly chill and shock enemies. So that's like powerful part over here, and we definitely won't have any levels to invest it here normally. What you can invest in over here? Well, there's a lot of nodes. First of all, critical damage over here, pretty easily. Then you can go into this attack speed, attack damage on the full life. It's just insanely powerful. Projectile damage against enemies who is close. Actually, critical damage bonus against close enemies. Very powerful stuff. You can invest into deflection to get like better protection overall. Since right now I got 0 chance to deflect, but deflection is actually big stuff. And increasing freeze and stun build up over here, also very nice. But let's stop with boring stuff. I will explain how weapon sets work after we will try to defeat my nightmare. This guy was such a problem for my wolf druid, so let's see how he can survive this. Oh, he can't, I guess. I even couldn't realize he already done. And that's what you will see all the time. Boss standing here, he is fine, and then poof, he is gone. So let's see. Actually playing safely is best play. Just stay away and hit tornadoes, that's it. So he's gone. It's insane how much damage you can output. And that's why again, offense is best defense, for now at least. How we achieved this crazy attack speed, this insane damage and all the stuff is because I'm using weapon sets. Now, answer the question. What we want to have all the time? We want to have some protection. But do we want to have any protection? When we launch tornadoes, we want insane critical damage. And for most builds, you need to sacrifice one or another, because basically you shoot your projectiles when you're normally walking. However, for us it's not true. We're actually walking normally with the skill, and then we shoot projectiles only like every few seconds. So I utilize 2 weapon sets, one for damage and one for attack speed and defense. You will easily find this deflection rating, increased evasion rating and all the stuff as weapon set number 2. Also, increased attack speed and skill speed is all over the place, also for weapon set number 2. And all critical damage nodes, critical hit chance goes only for weapon set number 1. And that's basically how you do it. Weapon set number 1 will be with Tangle Tongue and your Shrine. Shrine will add this extra lightning damage when you use Tangle Tongue. All other time, you will actually play without the Shrine Sifter and your offhand should be empty on your weapon set number 2. This way we utilize this big node. This keystone, Dance with Dash, gives you 25% more skill speed while offhand is empty. Therefore we can achieve this insane speed of attack and basically be creating 3 levels, 3 stages basically in seconds, and then we removing and releasing our tornadoes and going back into defensive mode. That's why for weapon set number 2 you want to use Spear with increased attack speed, and also you want to drop increased skill speed on top of it. I bought Spear with 3 gem sockets. It's corrupted, so it's pretty fun spear, and with maximum increased skill speed. That's everything we need for this weapon. And that's why Whirling Slash will have rapid attacks, Rage 3, for more attack speed, then knockback, to knock back enemies even more, and punch through, because it will make targets easy targets and they will take extra damage from projectiles. efficiency to have less cost, Twister with salvo for more projectiles, projectile acceleration for faster projectiles, which kinda increases damage because they travel more in a certain duration, and also it increases damage with projectile speed. Deliberation, we will deal more damage but have penalty while using the skill. We're using the skill only once every few seconds, so we don't care. Stoicism, we're not using our dodge roll because we can't use dodge roll when we doing damage, so it's really good stuff to give us 20% more damage. And elemental armament 2 for even more damage. So that's my setup right now, just more and more and more and more damage. Another option is to drop something like pinpoint critical. It's also a nice option, so you crit more, but in my experience it's just overkill, you don't need it. Glacial Lens right now is an optional skill, rapid attacks 2, freeze, embiter, pinpoint critical and blazing critical. So whenever we crit with this skill, we actually gaining damage as fire damage, so a little bit extra damage on top of our twisters, very nice and powerful, but mostly will be used to just freeze bosses when you need to. Wind Dancer with Culmination, Elemental Armament 2, Ailed Chimes and Charge Profusion. Basically, we can gain combo with Culmination, and Ale Chimes sometime will give us power charges. Power charges will be mostly used for support skills that I'm not using right now, but I already installed them. Then we're getting Barish with heightened charges, perpetual charges, so we can activate them even and not remove charges, and have benefit of consuming double charges. That's when you see this insane tornadoes cooldown recovery to use it more often, second wind to use it even more often, and rapid casting to use it faster. Herald of Ice, just more and more damage. Herald of Thunder, kinda the same, but I'm using Ambush with pinpoint critical for maximum critical hit chance, Embiter, so it will freeze enemies more often with Elemental Ornament, and Frost Nexus to create this chilled ground. It helps to survive versus fast enemies. And technically that's how build work, that's how to play it. I think it's really fun, and if you're curious where we can push it further, make sure to leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. But let's not forget, I promised you to show how to buy Astramentis pretty cheaply, so we're looking for Astramentis basically. That's what you need to look for. You will see a bunch of them, and first of all what you need to look for is corrupted. When it's corrupted, it's bad because you can't modify it further, and you want to instill it with different passives. Maybe we will change build later, so don't buy corrupted and don't corrupt it. Therefore, Miscellaneous, corrupted, no. 6 Chaos Orb is minimum, but we will see that 54 to all attributes is pretty low. We want to have high attributes, but if you search for really high attributes, you will see that it costs 11 Divine Orbs. And that's just scammers, because this Astramentis got plus 20 to attribute modifiers. It costs insanely cheap, and technically this Astramentis actually have 100 or even less total attributes. And the problem is quality over here, so this quality actually messes up all the search. Therefore, you want to look for item quality maximum 0. But the problem, game won't give you ability to do it. So you either can do it on the website. So if you pull basically this stuff over here right now, quality 0, let's say 90 all attributes, 90 is fine. You can find like 90 for 1 Divine Orb. I got mine with 93 to all attributes, and when I fully upgrade it, it will have 110 all attributes or something like this. And lots of scammers trying to sell it for 3 Divine Orbs when actual price is just 1, at least right now. And while you're watching for the next stage, next iteration of this build, make sure to check video on the screen right now. It's hilarious and funny adventure when I crafted insanely cool weapon.